In the annals of true crime history, there exists a chilling enigma that continues to haunt the collective psyche of the world. A mystery shrouded in darkness, where terror prowled the streets of San Francisco. This is the story of the Zodiac Killer. For decades, the Zodiac Killer struck fear into the hearts of the unsuspecting residents, leaving a trail of cryptic messages and brutal slayings in his wake. His identity remains a mystery to this day, a phantom lurking in the shadows, taunting law enforcement and terrorizing the innocent. From the quiet streets of Vallejo to the bustling city of San Francisco, the Zodiac's reign of terror knew no bounds. With each new victim, the city held its breath, wondering who would be next to fall prey to this elusive killer. Join us as we delve into the chilling case of the Zodiac Killer, a journey into the depths of darkness where the truth may never be fully revealed. We don't know much about his early life, but it all started on August 1, 1969, when a handwritten letter without a return address was received by the San Francisco Examiner, San Francisco Chronicle, and Vallejo Times-Herald. The letters, which stated, "Dear Editor, I am the killer of the two teenagers last Christmas at Lake Herman," included information from the Zodiac Killer's killings that could only have been known by the murderer. This man threatened that if the messages weren't printed on the front page of the publications, more attacks would be carried out. The closing symbol of each letter was a circle with a cross across it. This would later be recognized as the Zodiac Killer's symbol. In addition, he included one component of a three-part cipher with each letter, which he said revealed his identity. This spread terror among officers, and this was the time when they started searching for the man behind these bizarre moves. As the FBI and Bay Area police forces worked tirelessly to find the murderer, the San Francisco Examiner soon received another letter. It began, "Dear Editor, this is the Zodiac speaking," and went on detailing the murders while mocking the authorities for not being able to decipher his code or apprehend him. The code was cracked a few days later by Donald Hardin, a high school teacher, and his wife, Betty. It said, "I like killing people because it's so much fun. It is more fun than killing wild game in the forest because man is the most dangerous animal of all." The Zodiac Killer wasn't stopping. The San Francisco Chronicle received another letter reporting the crime 3 days after the 1969 murder of taxi driver Paul Stine, the fourth known Zodiac killing. It included a blooded swatch of Stine's shirt and contained the facts of Stine's murder, all written in the same erratic print as the Zodiac's earlier letters. The murderer pondered at the end of the letter that he would then shoot out a school bus tire and pick off the kiddies as they come bouncing out. The Zodiac Killer persisted in his teasing letters to Bay Area newspapers, in which he added more codes, stated that he had killed other people, and made fun of the police for not being able to apprehend him. Suddenly, in 1974, letters stopped, leaving investigators in immense confusion. The Zodiac Killer is known to have carried out 4 distinct attacks on 7 individuals. The first occurrence that has been verified was on December 20, 1968, when 17-year-old David Faraday and his girlfriend Betty Lou Jensen were shot and killed close to their car at a secluded location on Lake Herman Road, outside of Vallejo, California. The police were perplexed and unable to identify a culprit or the reason for the crime. Terror started to numb everyone's brains. Again, on July 5, 1969, early in the morning, a man holding a flashlight approached 22-year-old Darlene Ferrin and her boyfriend, Mike Mago, who were sitting in a parked car in a relatively rural area of Vallejo. Multiple shots were fired at them by the apparition, leaving Ferrin dead and Mago critically injured. An hour after the attack, a guy called the Vallejo Police Department, providing them with the location of the crime site and claiming to be the one responsible for Jensen and Faraday's 1968 killings. Police were unable to find the Zodiac Killer despite a plethora of tips and leads, fingerprints, Mago's description, and the deciphered cipher. He attacked again on the evening of September 27, 1969, strolling up to the young couple, Cecilia Shepard and Brian Hartnell, while they were lounging on a remote section of the Lake Berryesser coast in Napa County. Dressed in a hoodie and a circle-cross shirt, he tied them up, stabbed them mercilessly, wrote a note for the police on their car door, and drove off. Then he made a call to the Napa Police Department, claiming he was at fault. When help arrived, Shepard and Hartnell, thankfully, were both still alive but in severe condition. However, Shepard passed away soon after from her injuries. After 2 weeks, on October 11, 1969, in the Presidio Heights district of San Francisco, the Zodiac took another life by shooting Paul Stine, a 29-year-old taxi driver. Until a letter alleging the crime was received by the San Francisco Chronicle, the murder was initially thought to be a robbery because it did not appear to follow the Zodiac's pattern. The 1963 killing of Robert Domingos and Linda Edwards close to Santa Barbara, California, and the 1966 stabbing death of college student Sherry Jo Bates in Riverside, California, are two of the at least 5 crimes that have been loosely connected to the Zodiac killer. In 1969, a composite sketch of a Zodiac killer was made. With descriptions from witnesses who had seen a man leaving the scene of Paul Stine's 1969 murder, police were able to create and circulate a composite sketch of the killer. But despite mounting evidence and the investigation of numerous suspects, the Zodiac remained at large. Over 50 years after the Faraday-Jensen killings, not a single suspect has ever been taken into custody. Law enforcement is still bogged down in trying to find the Zodiac killer. The public is still fascinated by the mystery surrounding the Zodiac case, and it has sparked a good number of speculations about who the killer might be. Claims that he was Ted Kaczynski, the Unabomber, or the convicted killer Charles Manson range from credible to ludicrous. Another theory is that he relocated to Scotland and killed more people before finding contentment and quitting his evil ways. Other possibilities that have been proposed are: author of true crime books and former cartoonist for the San Francisco Chronicle Robert Graysmith wrote 2 books about the killer, 1986 Zodiac and 2002 Zodiac Unmasked, concluding that Arthur Lee Allen was the most likely candidate. Arthur Lee Allen was dishonorably discharged from the Navy in 1958. He also lost his job as an elementary school teacher in 1968 for molesting school children. Allen was interviewed by the police in 1971. In 1974 he was arrested for child molestation and served his sentence at Atascadero State Hospital until 1977. Nevertheless, Allen passed away in 1992 and was never positively linked to any of the killings. In 2014, a second individual came forward to say that prior to his death in 2002, a buddy by the name of Louis Myers had admitted to being the murderer. Myers' life story included certain occurrences that coincided with the Zodiac, but, as with Allen and Van Best, there was insufficient evidence to draw firm conclusions. Gary L. Stewart wrote The Most Dangerous Animal of All, released by HarperCollins in 2014. In it, Stewart says that his father, Earl Van Best Jr., who looks a lot like the guy in the police sketch, was the Zodiac killer. Stewart learned that Van Best liked ciphers and the opera, especially the Mikado, which the Zodiac referenced in his letters. What's more, an expert said that he had similar handwriting to the Zodiac. Stewart also believed that his father and the Zodiac shared animosity toward the same journalist. San Francisco Chronicle reporter Paul Avery reported on the Zodiac and received a Halloween card allegedly from the killer that read, "Peekaboo. You're doomed. From your secret pal." Avery happened to be the same reporter who'd covered Van Best's statutory rape trial. However, critics found Stewart methods lacking and his father was never confirmed to be the Zodiac killer. According to a 2023 Peacock documentary series titled Myth of the Zodiac Killer, several persons were responsible for the murders. This much information about a cold case is really unusual. The New York Post was informed by series director Andrew Knock that, if you read all the police files, you see that there's very little linking these crimes together. Different locations, weapons, methods of operation, victim profiles, even eyewitness accounts, or a trophy being taken from one but not the other. Cryptic Ciphers. One of the most intriguing aspects of the Zodiac case is the series of cryptic ciphers sent by the killer to local newspapers. Of the 4 ciphers sent, only one has been definitively solved. The infamous Zodiac killer cipher, known as the 340 cipher, remained unsolved for over 50 years until a group of amateur sleuths cracked it in 2020. The key breakthrough, according to the magazine, was Blake's idea that the cipher is simultaneously a homophonic substitution cipher, in which plaintext letters map to more than one ciphertext symbol, and a transposition cipher, where plaintext characters are shifted according to a regular system. Taunting letters. Along with the ciphers, the Zodiac killer sent a series of taunting letters to newspapers, police departments, and individuals. These letters often contained chilling details about the murders and included threats of further violence. The letters were signed with a distinctive symbol that became synonymous with the Zodiac killer. Disguises and modus operandi. The Zodiac killer's modus operandi varied, making it difficult for investigators to establish a clear profile. In some cases, the killer targeted couples parked in isolated areas, while in others, he attacked lone individuals. The killer also employed disguises, such as a hooded costume with a distinctive symbol, adding to the mystique surrounding his identity. Lack of definitive suspects. Despite extensive investigations by law enforcement agencies and amateur sleuths, no definitive suspect has ever been identified as the Zodiac killer. Over the years, numerous individuals have been considered as potential suspects, including Arthur Lee Allen, Richard Gaikowski, and Lawrence Kane, among others. However, conclusive evidence linking any one individual to the crimes has yet to emerge. The enigmatic nature of the Zodiac killer case has led to a myriad of theories and speculations regarding the killer's identity and motivations. Some researchers believe the Zodiac killer may have had a military or law enforcement background, given his proficiency with firearms and cryptology. Others speculate that the killer may have been motivated by a desire for notoriety or a fascination with the Zodiac symbol and astrology. The enigmatic nature of the Zodiac killer case has led to a myriad of theories and speculations regarding the killer's identity and motivations. Yet, as we close this chapter, let us not forget the victims, their lives cut short by an unknown assailant who prowled the streets with impunity. Let us honor their memory by continuing to seek justice, by refusing to let their stories be forgotten. Thank you for joining us on this journey into the heart of one of the most infamous unsolved cases in history. Stay tuned for more content as we continue to delve into the mysteries that have captivated the world.